Hey folks, today we have Edward Kennedy Ellington, more frequently known as the Duke, on the show today. We're going to talk about how he has affected music during his career. Well, thanks, for having me on the show. Okay, well first, I'd like to know, are there any significant parts of your youth that have influenced how you chose to compose jazz music? I don't write jazz. Jazz is a loaded term in today's world. I think American music, or Negro folk music, would be a better term. While the music may sound similar fundamentally, I am a composer, and my music is written down on sheet music, unlike spontaneous jazz music. As for my childhood, I do think the racial turmoil in Washington during the 1910s prompted me to convey my racial pride through music. So how did you learn to play music? I was fortunate. My family was well off and we were able to afford a piano. However, as a kid I was not too dedicated to music. Only during high school did I really take an interest in music. Only then did my teacher, Henry Grant, give me a formal music education. If you weren't too interested in piano lessons, why did you choose a career in music? When I was young, I saw all the girls flock to the musicians. That strongly motivated me to become a successful musician. So you were successful in Washington. Why did you leave? My piece, Soda Fountain Rag, gained some popularity, but once my drummer, Sonny Greer, left the orchestra, I decided it was time to move on. I wanted to become the best, and one of the only at the time, African-American composers. I decided New York City would give me the best chance at gaining fame. So I moved out to Harlem with my bandmates and joined the Harlem Renaissance. Not many composers at the time were African American. How did that affect you? It affected me in a few ways. Often I had to put Irving Mills, a white man, as my co-composer on my music label. That said, I refused to play in front of segregated audiences. You recently signed with the Cotton Club, an institution in Harlem. What effect has that had on your career? The Cotton Club has helped me boost my popularity. We have weekly radio broadcasts so that the nation can hear our music. We've all heard about the unique sound of your orchestra, jungle music. Could you describe that for us? Sure. I was once asked how I compared to Bach. The only comparison that I can think of is that Bach and myself both write with individual performers in mind. We have a couple of unique musicians that have allowed me to create jungle music. Bubber Miley comes to mind. He makes his unique wah-wah sound on his trumpet by muting his plunger. And Joe Nanton can make his trombone growl. Other than jungle music, was there anything else that differentiated your orchestra from other orchestras? I saw how Igor Stravinsky composed his music for the radio, and thought it quite smart. My music is composed so that it heavily relies on brass instruments, which are more easily heard than the piano through the radio, gramophone, or phonograph. Other than tailoring my music for the radio, my music has also been called African American classical music. I think this is an apt comparison as it fuses the common European influenced music and the popular up-and-coming quicker music that some call jazz. Well, thank you, Duke. You have been such an influence to the music industry, becoming such a famous African American composer is impressive, as is your mix of European classical music and the up-and-coming hot music, which creates a unique sound. I've heard you're trying to make a piece last longer than the typical 3 to 4 minutes, so we wish you the best of luck. And we hope that we continue to hear your dense textures and dark growling timbres.